What's up, believers? Welcome to Make Us Believe, a wrestling podcast by fans for fans. I am your host, Michael.
And I'm John.
And we're coming to you now with episode 6. Just a brief recap episode, kind of going on or going over what's going on right now in WWE. Looking down the barrel at Crown Jewel, right?
Yep, Crown Jewel's right
That's
around the
next
corner.
one.
Yep.
Yeah. So I keep thinking like long term is like our next big one is Survivor Series, and that's the next one that's going to be out there. But yeah, Crown Jewel's right around the corner, and it's in Australia this year, which is really cool.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Yeah. It's my people, man. I love the Aussies. No, it's kind of interesting because I thought it has always been a Saudi pay-per-view or IPLE. But the fact that they're kind of moving it around now, getting it kind of into the rotation, maybe like that seems kind of interesting. So
yeah, I'm actually
I'm here
very
for it.
surprised by it. I don't really know what the reasoning is, but yeah, I mean that's cool. I thought they had the whole like setup and display in Saudi Arabia with like the belts and stuff, but apparently, yeah, things are shifting a little bit.
Yeah. Which now I'm like, who's gonna pay for that belt? Because those belts are not cheap.
No, no, they are pretty pretty magnificent belts, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say gaudy, but they're pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, Gotti's I think that's a fair descriptor.
Probably.
The thing was the size of Liv Morgan's torso. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, she wore that thing. It was essentially a vest or whatever. It was just, it could have been a skirt.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So first off, back-to-back weeks. Shout out to us.
Yeah, hey, we're getting back on it.
We're getting back on it.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback. So we're like I said, we're in the crosshairs of Crown Jewel, and we have Survivor Series looming in late November. Not a lot going on to promote stuff like storyline wise. It's like it feels almost like a slow build.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of a lull right now.
Yeah, it feels like they're building towards Survivor Series and just kind of like Crown Jewel. I mean, I know we're late in the game for this anyway, but Crown Jewel is just going to be Crown Jewel. But it's always kind of just been a throwaway. I think we talked about that last week. So we know that we're going to get the world champion match in there, for the world, the Crown Jewel champion or whatever.
Which I am interested in. That's probably the one match that actually does have some interest. They actually do have a pretty good rivalry. It looks like they're going to tell like Seth and Cody's story in 3 parts. We got part 1, at least part 1, right? Unless like I just went and grabbed some chips during another one, but I think they just showed part 1 and it was good. And they do have a pretty good rivalry that they built up since Cody's return. So yeah, I have interest in that match. The other ones, I'll obviously watch. I'm sure something decent will happen, but yeah, the Cody Seth match is definitely probably going to be a barn burner, if you will.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a banger for sure. Yeah, and it's on Peacock, so those of you who still have a Peacock subscription will be able to watch the Crown Jewel PLE.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that Survivor Series is going to be on the new ESPN streaming.
Almost certainly.
So if you haven't signed up for it yet, I would advise holding off and then using a free trial to watch it and then cancel whatever, because that's, or make a new email or something like that. Just do that, because True Facts, that thing is $30. And if you're into sports and you can get value out of that, for sure, that might be for you. For the rest of us that just want to watch PLEs, not worth it, in my opinion. We went over this last week, but I feel like, it just doesn't feel like a good bargain, especially after they've gotten us used to paying $10.
Yeah, yeah, we've been spoiled. Yeah, I think
We got
Peacock's like
spoiled.
$7 or something. Like it's
Yeah,
too good. Yeah, and
yeah.
that's coming from a 9.99. So yeah, I mean
Oh man,
we were spoiled for a long time. So this $30 is a little bit of a hit in the gut.
it is. It is. But if you can get around it, get around it. I'm not going to tell you to do anything illegal, but you do you. The internet is
Mhm.
massive and Google's free. So just throwing that out there, guys.
True.
Um, if you don't like it, WWE, then send us a cease and desist and change your ways. I don't care.
Be how about just be better, you know?
Just be
We're in a,
better. Just,
yeah, you're gonna up the charge when we're in a lull season, like, at least up the ante on the production.
yeah.
Well, not
You
so
didn't
much
even
production,
time
but
that.
stories.
Didn't even
No.
time that well.
Poorly
Like they
timed.
could have made that thing happen for like, oh, WrestleMania is going to be there exclusively, and then all of us would have been shitting our pants trying to figure out how to watch WrestleMania. But no, you decided to do this like you said during a lull. So like this is ridiculous. I don't know.
Shame.
Shame. If I had a bell, I'd ring it. Anyway, we're getting away from it. So what do we got going on right now?
I
Well,
mean,
we are still looking at Rhea and Io going against the Kabuki Warriors. You think this is going to end at Crown Jewel? I'm assuming they're going to have a match at Crown Jewel, unless they're skipping this and then they're going to have the big match at Survivor Series. But
I will admit that as dumb as I thought this was for a minute, I do have a little interest in it now, just because I think that there's a chance that and I might have said this on the last podcast because it's always been floating in my head, but I wouldn't be surprised if Io turned on Rhea and joined them. I kind of like how Asuka's kind of taking full charge over Kyrie, and
yeah,
she's saying like, "I taught you guys. I'm the teacher." So, I mean, like a reformed faction with Asuka at the helm. I don't hate it. I'm not saying that's the most interesting. Well, sadly, it might be one of the more interesting things that's happening right now, and that's not a compliment, but um,
yeah,
like it's interesting enough. So if Io eventually turns on Rhea, that would make sense and it would be exciting. So I'm for that if that's what's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, one way or another, I think it's probably got to come to fruition pretty soon. I don't know if it'll be as soon as Crown Jewel, but I really can't see it going more than a month. Like I can't see him really stretching it to Survivor Series, but maybe. I don't know. I mean, we'll see, but that's kind of what I want to see.
yeah. I mean, they've been building on this since what, August, right? Like
Right.
they've been having like the cracks in the foundation kind of thing, and having Kyrie be a more subservient figure to Asuka.
Hmm.
And I feel like they've been building to this. I think it might come to a head at Crown Jewel, because I don't know if they can push it out to Survivor Series, because that's not until November 29th. So that's a ways off. Like that's, what, almost 2 months. Yeah, it's about 2 months away.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
We'll have to see,
So
but I
yeah,
mean,
that,
none
that
none of them were doing much though. Even Rio was really not doing too much. So I mean, it's good for all of them. They actually got a storyline that's interesting going on right now. So yeah, we'll
yeah.
have to see.
I mean, the match is going to be great. All four of them are fantastic in the ring. Like
Oh
I
yeah, they
I
can
I
all
love
go.
all of them. I love
Yeah,
all of them. Obviously not all of them can be champion at the one time. I do
right.
think this is going to be like cool. They hit it, they quit it, they go off. Io and Rhea are going to do, I mean, they might tag up a little bit to help bolster the tag division a little in the meantime, but ultimately they're going to go for the main, big title picture again. And I think the Kabuki Warriors are going to be tag champs somewhere down the road.
I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, it's definitely something that they're doing in the division that makes sense, and it makes it more interesting and draws more eyes to it. So yeah, regardless of how they do it, I do think that they should stick with the tag division for at least a minute. And then
Mhm.
yeah, one of them could take the tag titles, run with it for a while. And then yeah, I mean it is going to elevate all of these characters probably eventually back to the main event scene for the women's division. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm certainly interested in it, and that's more than I could say I've been in any of these characters for a minute. So WWE is doing that one right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
and again, like I apologize. I should probably start making more notes because I kind of watch the stuff and then sometimes I'll dump some of the stuff out. But it was is it just me or was CM Punk and AJ totally absent this week?
yeah. It at the very least they didn't get headlined, like they didn't get showcased,
Yeah,
which
I
was
didn't I
weird.
don't yeah, I don't remember seeing them. I know that obviously we had Becky Lynch backstage with Maxine Dupree and that's whatever. I mean, Maxine's trying to fit in somewhere. I'm sure she's working hard, just not an interesting character at all.
Yeah.
Becky's got to move on to something, so I'm sure she'll probably give her another beatdown soon enough, but yeah, I mean, and obviously that their confrontation stemmed from Maxine, kind of calling her out with AJ Lee and Becky getting pissed. But yeah, I didn't see AJ Lee or CM Punk, and I guess they're entitled to a week off. It's just a little weird that they kind of had that big event and reunion, and now they're MIA.
Yeah. Especially with AJ. Like you bring her
Yeah,
back, you have her out for, you know, what is it? Like they had her out for a week and then they put her into a match.
yeah, yeah.
Like she was like, yeah, she came back on Friday, made appearance on Monday, and then was in the PLE.
Yeah, and
So
like, I fully expect this stuff from Brock. Like, I knew we weren't going to see Brock for a minute. Like, that came as no surprise. But also, like, AJ
yeah,
Lee ain't Brock, like, you just
AJ's
brought her back.
yeah,
She's been gone for a decade. Like, might want to bring her around at least for a little while. I'm not saying you got to cram her down our throats, but, probably a little bit more follow up to this, last PLE would be good.
that's an awesome point right there. I just thought of this. There's an entire generation. It's been 10 years, right?
Hmm.
There's literally an
Yeah.
entire generation of new viewers to WWE who has no idea who AJ Lee is. Like they
Right.
look at the promos and stuff and the people talking about her being, the Divas champion and stuff, and they have no idea what a Divas champion is. Like
That's true, man. That's true. That
so
was so long ago at this point.
yeah, so yeah, if you're listening, WWE, while you're prepping those cease and desists
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
us,
Yeah.
also think about the fact that, yeah, maybe she needs more exposure because there's a bunch of people out here who aren't over the age of 30 that
Yeah.
might not know who the hell AJ Lee is at
Yeah, she
all.
she definitely
So,
needs reintroduced to this newer crowd. So, and even for the old time fans, like I liked AJ Lee just fine. I didn't think she was like, the greatest thing I've ever seen or anything, but I liked AJ Lee, but like, she's back now. Like let's see her a little bit. Like I don't know. It just seems weird like they're just gonna be a little bit careful how they schedule her now. Like, don't. Like, she's back. Let's get to know her again. Like, we know
yeah.
CM Punk. CM Punk was also a much bigger star than her. So, like, I get it. Like, if CM Punk wants to take a break, that's fine. It's just now's not the right time with everything that's been going on.
Yeah. And I mean, when CM Punk came back, like, yeah, he was gone for 10 years or whatever,
Hmm.
but he came back and they threw him into everything. Like he was on
Oh
Fridays,
yeah.
he was on Mondays, he was on PLEs, like
Yep.
he was acting like a company guy.
Yeah.
So why are we not treating AJ like she's not a Brock, like you said. She's not
Yeah.
Brock. If you want to reintroduce her as talent and make her somebody that we care about and want to get behind and that you're thinking of pushing and putting a title on, you need to put her out there. I'm not saying that she needs to be out there every single week, but also why the hell not? You know,
Yeah.
if
I
she's willing to,
and it's not like they have kids or anything, like
yeah,
they don't have anything else going on. Like, bring her in.
yeah,
So that was, I guess notable, just the absence there. And man, I know we're both New Day guys, but geez, oh man, like, are they ever gonna win another match? Like,
I
I get it. Like, this is what I want to see. I know you can't have Kingston go over LA clean, but I thought
yeah,
maybe we get some shenanigans from, you know, some outside interference, with the Vision and stuff. Nothing. Like, just a clean loss for Kofi, and I don't
yeah,
know, man. Like, it's. I get it. They're bad guys, but bad guys got to win to stay interesting too. And I get it. They're the New Day. They're super decorated. They might be the most decorated tag team in WWE history. Um, to have them just get shit on, for lack of a better term, for I don't know, man. It seems like since they lost their tag titles, which I mean, we got to be going back at least 6 months there, right?
Yeah. It was just yeah,
Yeah,
little about 6 months, yeah. Because and I get this because before they won, they were doing their thing. They hadn't won jack shit before they won the titles, right?
right.
Like they got on the screen, people got behind them. The storyline of them potentially breaking up was interesting. Them dumping Big E was interesting.
Mhm.
Fan support happened, and they got another shot at the gold, and it was great. So I don't know if they're going that direction or what the hell they're gonna do, but
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta give them something, man. And they're fan favorites. They're charismatic. They have fantastic chemistry in there. You've thrown Grayson Waller into the mix, which he's just a clown, but in the best way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's adding to it. He's not taking away from the New Day vibe. He's adding to it,
I
and
agree.
I love that. So
No,
I'm like,
and New Day's
just
never been above clowning, man. Like a big part of
no,
their faction is clowning around and but also getting W's. So
yeah,
I'm gonna need that latter part here soon.
yeah, for sure. And I'm not saying I'm not gonna dump my boys. That's never gonna happen. I've been like I've been
No.
in the New Day camp, you know, since day one, essentially. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say day one, but pretty early. Like they definitely were rough at the beginning stages, but it didn't take them too long to find their footing.
no. So
As soon
yeah,
as they leaned into like the heel stuff early on, like because they were trying to be face early and it just wasn't working. As soon as they realized it wasn't working and shifted into heel, I was on them from then on. Face
yeah.
or heel, they've been just a delay.
Well, and then they went what? It was like, well, shit. How long have they been a tag team or a team? Like,
Oh
has it
geez,
been
oh man,
like
it's it's
15
it
years?
it's been over a decade. I
Something?
I couldn't tell you exactly
Yeah,
how long, but it's been a real long time. 15 years actually doesn't sound that crazy to me. It's probably at
yeah,
least 12. I don't know.
yeah. And I'm just like, they've been a consistent team that entire time. Like they have lasted longer as a team than some people's careers do because they just flamed out or weren't able to get over with the fans or whatever. And New Day has just been there reinventing themselves and just having fun doing it.
11 years. 11 years. I just did a
11
quick
years.
search.
Okay.
Yep.
11 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So AJ Lee was probably still around when New Day formed.
Yeah. Right. No, just after actually, because Big E was her bodyguard.
That's right. That's right. Great callback. Great callback.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was with were they with Dolph? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah. She was
Oh
with
yeah.
Dolph and Big E was the muscle.
That's right. That's right. I don't know why I forgot that. That actually that would actually work pretty good for me. But yeah, that was just so long ago. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, so we need them to win. I'm not saying you need to put gold on them tomorrow, but we need them to win, guys. Like we
Yeah.
want them to win. Like we love the New Day. I mean,
Yeah.
also while you're at it, if you were to put a world title on R-Truth, we wouldn't be mad at that either.
Man, R-Truth, man, like he came
Give him a
back.
day. Give him a day.
Jeez, oh man, like I feel like him getting fired, getting rehired, coming back serious, and then swapping back to goofy, like it's actually kind of entered bad territory for me. Like I love R-Truth as much as anybody, but I guess if there was ever a time where I was okay with him retiring or leaving, it's probably now. Like it's I'm not feeling it right now on R-Truth.
Well, they're not giving him anything, and they did
They're not.
immediately. They immediately put him back to Goofy, which I was like, "Why are you making him serious? Don't make
Yeah,
him go out there, cut his hair, and be
yeah,
Ron
yeah.
Killings." We wanted R-Truth. Everybody wants R-Truth, and I understand like maybe that's not what he necessarily wanted and stuff, but it's like that was the character, that was the vibe.
They
Having him
should have
come
let
out and
him.
then be, hey, I'm going to be serious, and now we're thinking you're going to put him in a storyline where he's going to be a major contender or something. Like, we know
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. So
they
why
botched
rock
that.
the boat? Yeah. So it's
They
like
botched that bad.
they super did. And I'm like, if you would have just let him come back and be R-Truth, like he got fired, he came back, and he was still just R-Truth, it was great. And
Hmm.
we would have been fine. But now we had that little hiccup where he came out, made the serious promo and stuff, and was trying to do that thing for what, all of 2 weeks. And now he's back to being R-Truth, which I'm here for. But you
Hmm.
need to, if you're going to make that work, you need to have him on more. And that was the beauty of R-Truth, was that you could just throw him literally into any situation and he could make it work. Any
Yeah,
situation. You could say that he was like, it could be a promo for the women's title, and you could throw him in there and he would still find a way to make that work.
I
So
I don't disagree, man. I really don't.
yeah,
Um,
so I'm upset. I'm upset because
yeah,
I love R-Truth, and they're
it's
doing him wrong.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but yeah, if they don't have a spot for him, are they just going to give him like random goofy spots now for the next couple years until they axe him again? Like, I bet you that's exactly what's going to happen. And then, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I need it at that point. I was kind of excited for the change. If they were going to bring him back and have him goofy again, I guess that would have been fine. But like just him going serious for a cup of coffee, literally, and then back to goofy, it kind of diminished his character a little bit more to me. I don't know, and that might be the first time he's been diminished in a long time. At least give him a little Jimmy back or something. I don't know. Speaking of going
um
back over a decade,
yeah, right. Hey, crazy prediction time, because I guess that's the one that's going to be my jam on the show now.
okay,
We have the 2026, or the class of 26 entry already, like the first announcement of Stephanie, right?
yep.
Is it that far off that maybe R-Truth gets his nod and goes into the class of 26 and then does finally retire?
Huh. I wouldn't hate that. I really wouldn't.
I mean, it kind of solves all the problems.
It actually would not be bad.
So there we go. I'm gonna hold out for it. Like, he deserves the Hall of Fame, and
Oh, I'm not
until he
disagreeing with
goes
that.
in, I'm gonna beat this
Uh,
drum. But I think actually this would be a good time, because they wanted to get rid of him for whatever reason. Then they brought him back because of the fan support. Then they made him do that ridiculous like character change. Didn't go over well. And then they're trying the R-Truth stuff, but now he's already having to run uphill again because he had to go through all of that BS. So yeah, if you're gonna pull the trigger on him, then fine, pull the trigger on him, but also put him in the Hall of Fame. We're right around the corner anyway. Like, why not?
yeah, I
Let
mean,
him have some fun on the way out, kind of thing.
I wouldn't be mad about that at all. I really wouldn't be. You got a lot of options with the Hall of Fame. I actually think there's a lot of people kind of primed who could go in. Actually, do you want to just do this for fun? Like, I'm gonna full disclosure. This is not an original list. I just kind of put up like I just kind of like looked a little bit about people who aren't in yet, and there's actually a pretty compelling list. And if you want, we can go through it real quick, just kind of skim through it and see who we think is, or I think you could probably make a case for most of them being in eventually, but we could talk about if we think they're going to be in right away, or like
Okay.
or this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's do this.
All right.
Wait. So quick recap of Raw, since we're going off the rails here. We
Hmm.
also wanted to discuss our top 5 factions this week.
Yes.
So here's what we're gonna do. Raw was average. There wasn't a whole lot going on. One thing that stood out to you, go.
Uh, One thing that stood out to me on
Remember-
Raw. All right, hang on. I want to say one thing that stood out on Raw, I guess, was, man, I can't give you a whole lot. Seth obviously seems like he's a man on a mission. He's sort of separated himself a little bit from the Vision. Not like he's teasing leaving the Vision or anything like that, but he was very independent this episode. So he does actually seem like possessed by beating Cody, and I think that he's going to actually.
I agree with that. I think he is going to beat Cody because Cody won it last year. You can only go over so many times as a face before it gets stale.
Yeah,
it would be good to not let, to give him some humility, I guess, as it were. Not that he needs it. But he won it last year. He doesn't need to win it this year, kind of thing.
Yeah. Seth absolutely needs this way more than Cody needs this. And then, yeah. I mean, did you have any other thing noteworthy for Raw? Because I got a couple things on SmackDown.
The only other thing that I had, I mean, I guess we have the Los Americanos faction.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Which I'm here for.
Which I don't know how how it's gonna work in the long term.
I don't know how it's worked to this point, but it has.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean just with the faction as far as Grande Americano goes, like how he's gonna fit in and respond in the long term, in the months coming up, kind of thing. Like how that all works out. Because as we know, El Grande Americano is absolutely 100% not Chad Gable.
No, but
Chad Gable
curious.
Is out on injury right now.
Right. So I mean, I am curious once Chad Gable comes back, because they were closely aligned. If the alliance will continue. So
yeah, especially now that he has a faction. Does Chad Gable fit in with that faction? Like, do they go out and have beers or something? Like, how does that work? Kind of thing. Are they cool?
Yeah, I that is something to look out for, and it's crossed my mind as well, and I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but we'll see. Definitely interested. Big fan of those guys, honestly. Very big fan.
I am too. So the only other thing that popped out was shout outs to Dominic. As always.
Yes, that's a good one. Dominic definitely.
This son of a bitch is turning out to be the greatest IC champion of all time, and I'm here for it. I'm not even 100%. Saying that ironically. I love it so much.
I'm really enjoying it, and I actually loved how JD and Finn walked out with him, and then just were like, "All right, bye," because you haven't been here for us. I loved it, and Dom still figured it out. A powerhouse Rusev. So awesome. That was actually extremely noteworthy. I'm glad you brought it up. 100% round of applause for Dom.
Pulling out his uncle's move, which is always great, right? Like that.
Yep.
When Eddie did it, we all flabbergasted, right? Like, holy crap, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before in my life. It might have been done before. I don't know. It was the first time I'd ever seen it, and I thought Eddie Guerrero was a fucking genius because of it.
100%. I love how the ref was just like, "What are you doing? I watched you do it." That was great too.
Right?
All of it was good.
And then that was literally just a setup so he could do the actual heel move. It was so in the heel meta that I was here for it so much. Like, it was so good, and he delivers it so well. Like Dominic, at first I was like, "Oh, look, here we go, it's just another Nepo baby." Kind of thing, right? Coming in, and he's like, "Oh, look, I'm a baby face, blah, 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 blah." No, Dominic is absolutely a WWE superstar in his own right. And if by any chance he ever listens to this, Dominic, you're amazing. Way to represent and be awesome, and way to represent San Diego, my friend. As someone who is also from the 619, I appreciate this. So he's so much fun to watch. I'm sorry.
He's making us believe, man. He's making us believe.
He's making us believe.
Hell yeah. So that's all. I remember telling my brother, way back, that the only way this kid's going to get over is if he turns on Ray and if he goes and does a good run in NXT. Now, I was only half right about that. He didn't need NXT, but ever since he joined the Judgment Day and turned on Rayman, it's been all uphill for this kid, and I am like you here for it. Big fan of Dom.
Yeah. All right. So what were you saying? What do you got from what else do you got? You said
So
you had something from SmackDown?
yeah, so SmackDown, I just want to touch on like I don't like Nia Jax. I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. I do think she's sloppy. She's getting a lot of grief over this Jade Cargill, busted open. I didn't think that was her fault, man. Like she gives her a light shove into the steps. I think it's Jade's inexperience, that kind of cost her that. I don't know if I'd go as far as injury, but at least busted up face. I thought that that was a really horrible match overall because you also had the ref botch, which also could be arguably a Nia botch because she didn't kick out or whatever. But um, it was just a sloppy match. So that was my big no, that was my big takeaway. And also, F my life every time Booker T's on commentary, man. I can't stand Booker T on commentary. He's got the worst voice for it. So like I get it, you're selling Corey Graves getting hurt after he got after Brock messed him up, but which is realistic. Like the guy doesn't wrestle anymore because he got injured. Brock messed him up. Yeah, it makes sense for him to not be there, but oh my gosh, the fact that we had to sit through Booker T was rough. And then Heyman's the man, and that's pretty much all I got from SmackDown.
That's fair. Those are all fair assessments. I think Nia gets so much heat because she's earned so much heat. And I don't say that in like a really that comes across way harsher than I actually mean it to. She was inexperienced coming in, right?
Yeah.
And she had the build of something different in the women's division, which is WWE loves that shit.
Oh yeah.
So when she comes in, she has the build. They put her out probably way quicker than they should have, and she ends up hurting people because of her inexperience. And she did legitimately injure several people, I think including herself. So, like she has that history, going in there. So it's not a surprise to me that she would be blamed for it just because like, oh yeah, somebody got injured or a match didn't go exactly as planned and Nia was involved. Of course it didn't, kind of thing. But I think it's deeper. I think you're right. It's like, yeah, there was a lot that happened that wasn't necessarily her fault. Like she can't be solely responsible for everything that went bad. Jade didn't catch herself right and got busted open. They're metal stairs. They're metal stairs. It doesn't take a lot. A sharp corner or something. Like we've both worked in in with our hands and tools and stuff like that and engineering and everything, right? Like sharp metal, like metal does not take a lot to be sharp and to cut you. Like it could have burrs and stuff. Very, very simple to have missed
unforgiving stuff,
a small spot, right? So absolutely probably was just an accident. Jade didn't catch herself right. Nia maybe was a little too exuberant or something. So whatever combination it happened, I don't think it's totally Nia's fault. If she doesn't kick out, the ref stops, there was just a lot of stuff that happened that not everything can be her fault. So I'm just kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt in this one. She didn't blatantly hurt somebody this time. So I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of her either. I really think that she's one of those people that they keep pushing because of name recognition and because of her build. She's a big woman. She looks like, it's like when we had when we had Karma in here, when we had China, when you had Beth Phoenix, they love the big women, or right now with Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea, right?
If I remember correctly, she eliminated Dean Ambrose from a men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, she is one of the women to participate and eliminate.
Yeah,
I think it's her, China, and Beth Phoenix are the only ones.
Yeah, I think that might be right. But yeah. So I mean, as far as that goes, all right. So I'm gonna list off these Hall of Famers, if that's
Do
cool,
it.
and then just say, I guess, scale 1 to 10, what you think the odds of them getting inducted this year are. Okay.
All right, this year. Got it.
All right. So starting out with the Aminal Babatista.
Oh.
Oh, and by the way, this
Um,
this, this list is by Wrestle Talk. I feel like I got to give them credit. They marked
okay.
down 12 potential 2026 Hall of Famers. So I'm going by their list. Most of our list, all of our lists, I think, up until this point, have been our original lists. I do have to give credit.
Yeah.
This is Wrestle Talk.
Okay.
The ranking is
I
ours.
the ranking is ours. I'm gonna say a 5. Like I think it could go 50-50.
Yeah, I'll go a little higher. I'll probably go 7. He's been out of the game for a while. He's still fairly recent. He's relevant with his movies. He's still considered like kind of a WWE guy when you see him in films. So I'll go 7, just because of his relevance and impact. But yeah, no, I could see that. So 11, Psycho Sid.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, so Psycho
Um,
Sid, I will say, like, I don't think he's somebody who ever really got his flowers as much as he should have. But I think he's like
no.
overall, like between WCW and WWE, I think he's like a 6-time world champ. And I loved him. He was the first bad guy I hated too when he was Sid Justice and he turned on Hogan. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say the odds of him going in this year are probably about a 2, but I do think he should get the nod eventually.
he should get the nod eventually. I'm gonna put it at like a 3. I'll say a 3 because if we're gonna put him in eventually, like his time has to come up. Obviously, he's gone, so he's nothing else is happening or whatever. But
He
the
did just
longer
pass the last year though, which might make me bump him to a 3 with you. I'll give him an
I,
extra point for that.
that's what I was thinking, and it's like that. It's and I don't mean this the way I'm going to say it, people, but it does give him some extra points. The fact that he died this last
No,
year
it
or
it,
in
it, it
2024.
does. I hate
So
to say it, but it does.
yeah, so we're a little over a year out um, from his death, and I'm like, well, it does give him points, but also they had plans on who they were going to put in. It's not like they just come up with the list,
Oh
willy
yeah,
nilly.
I'm sure they got to
So
talk to these guys, make sure they're on board. Kind of do a
yeah,
whole thing, prepare for it, get somebody to do their speech, somebody to induct them. Yeah, I'm sure it's a pretty big process. So yeah,
yeah. So I'm gonna put it at a 3. I don't think it's gonna happen this year, but I think it will happen and probably
it
soon.
should. It should. Um, so next one, Mickey James.
Um, Mickey James was never my favorite. But I do recognize that she did make an impact. I'm gonna also say, actually, I'm gonna put her at a 4.
So I'm gonna go higher. I'm actually gonna go an 8, and I'm gonna say a couple quick things
Ooh,
on her. So one, I do like Mickey James. Two, Charlotte might have passed her at this point, but I think between you know and I get it, like TNA has always been considered a lower thing, but between WWE and TNA, I think she was the most decorated women's champ for a while there. She might still be. She's always been good on the ring. She's always had good storylines. I think that with her being on that LFG show, she's kind of back in WWE's good graces. I think that this actually could be a very realistic year to induct her.
those are some valid points.
Um, 9 is John Cena. And I'm John Cena, guys. I'm sorry. I'm talking like Santino sometimes just because it's bad habit. But yeah, obviously John Cena. What do we think the odds are that he goes in right now, this year? Oh, well, 2026, I guess.
Yeah, because see, that'll be March and April. His last match is on the 13th of December.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that at an 8.
It's a 10 for me. Like you just did a full last year of a farewell tour. It's a few months after that ended. I would actually be shocked if they didn't induct him in 2026.
See, the only reason that I feel like they might not is because that's not what the Undertaker did, and I'm literally basing it off of the Undertaker model
That's fair
because
precedence, yeah.
we knew the Undertaker was going in, like we knew that was gonna happen. He's on everybody's Mount Rushmore essentially.
Mhm. No,
Yeah,
he's not on mine, but he's obviously he's a top 10 for sure. But
yeah. So when he retired, we knew he was done, but he didn't go in for another, year or two. Like post that, he wasn't going in right away. So I'm thinking that like maybe it's like too much too quick, and they might want to slow burn that and just like maybe give it at least another year out of like, hey guys, by the way, tune into the Hall of Fame because John Cena is going to be here. I mean, it could be, like you said, it could go the opposite way and just be like, this is the year of John Cena, period. He gets his 17th. He goes, he's done the whole farewell tour for the whole year, and he caps it off with his retirement and induction into the Hall of Fame. That could absolutely be a thing that happens. I think that it would be a little better to go with the next year after, like another year in between. So I'm gonna say an 8, but I absolutely see where it you know could be a 10.
not fair enough. Yeah, but like I said, I would personally be shocked. Number 8, Chris Jericho.
Ooh, you had to do that. So that's really hard because if his contract, we talked about this last week, if
It
his
ends
contract is up,
ended 2025. Yeah,
it
at least
ends
that's what's
in
speculated.
2025. Yeah. So if they don't renew and it's up, then he has essentially, if that is the case and he does walk away from AEW, then he has two choices, right? He either re-signs a talent contract with WWE and is back on the show, or which again, by the way, greatest Royal Rumble entrance ever. Like, let's just make
Yeah,
this
we
happen,
talked
guys.
about it in our last episode, and it is something I really kind of need to see at this point.
That just make the universe in balance. That's just what happened there. Um, oh damn it! Because if he doesn't sign, then it leaves him open
He
because
hasn't he
you
hasn't been
don't.
on AEW programming since April, so I would say the odds of him coming back are slim.
Yeah, but it's just then like, what contract is he signing? Like, is he signing an alumni, like a legacy contract, or is he signing
Who knows,
on
man?
as talent?
It could be either or. Like with Jericho, you never know. Like it depends on if he still wants to go or not.
But they
Because
don't
Jericho
induct
doesn't
people
care.
who are active. They don't
No,
induct people who are
well, they
active.
usually don't. They did induct Ray.
Oh, they
Um,
did induct Ray.
but I see what you're saying. So what would you give it based on your best guess?
7.
So I I have the same back and forth that you were having, but I might be going a little bit differently in what I think is going to happen. I am going to give it a 4 because I do think he comes back at the Rumble, and then I think he has a little bit of a run. I actually think he makes more sense for 2027, 2028 induction. So I don't see it happening in 2026 because I think he's still going to be pretty active. Now, I know we just talked about with Ray, but you know, I don't know how often they want to do that.
Yeah,
Induct somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think if Jericho signs to be a wrestler, he's actually going to be wanting to be in the mix, like not a part timer. So I think that because Ray, very much so is pretty much a part timer at this point. I don't think that's
yeah,
what Jericho. I think Jericho wants to go until he doesn't want to go anymore. And he's
yeah,
taking breaks, but when he takes breaks, he's very open about it, and he's not there at all. And then when he's back all the time. So I think that he's going to resign with WWE. I think he's probably going to do at least a year. of wrestling, and then after that we'll see. But obviously, a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame, but I don't think it's going to happen next year.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it happens, awesome. I just don't know. The Hardy Boys at 7.
Are their contracts up?
They're with TNA right now. They're the TNA Tag Team Champions.
Okay, so crossover, but not crossover. I'm gonna give them a 7 also. Yeah. I think they're more like they're not on WWE programming, so we don't run into that same issue. Like
I think they have been a little bit with NXT just because of the TNA NXT crossovers.
Right. And that's kind of the thing that I'm going with is like they can do the crossover stuff, but they're not technically on
No, they're not signed by
WWE
WWE
contract.
Yeah.
So it alleviates that little bit. But and I mean, obviously they deserve to go in. Like they
of course.
deserve to go in.
All these people, I mean, to me, all these people are shoo-ins. You could argue Psycho Sid a little bit, I guess, but to me, he absolutely deserves to be in. Everybody else, I think, is a unanimous shoo-in. I would say for Hardy Boys, I'd give it a 5. I think it could go either way. Because they're obviously partnered with TNA, so it would be no issue probably to do that. And honestly, TNA would probably love it too. Now we have Hall of Famers who are active in our company. To me, it's a 5. It could go either way. They might want to wait till they're officially done, which would make sense to me. So yeah, I'm gonna say 5. Yeah, but I mean, obviously, we're gonna see them here soon. So 6, Demolition.
Oh man, okay. Demolition.
Good old Axe and Smash.
I'm very surprised they're not already in.
I'm actually pretty surprised too. I mean, big argument or big hit on them is that a lot of people look at them as kind of a Legion of Doom, sort of, I guess, copy. But I remember watching them when I was a little kid. I thought they were awesome. They were tag champs. So I mean, for me, I don't know. I think they deserve it. I feel like with everybody we just listed, there's a lot of good options. So like I think that they're gonna get in, but I don't really know if it's gonna be this year. I'd probably give it a 3.
Well, actually this is gonna be probably I'm gonna give this one a 9.
Wow, you think 9 for this year?
If they're gonna do it, it would make sense to do it. And aside from the New Day, who broke their record, they were the longest reigning tag team champions.
Okay.
If we've forgotten about that aspect, New Day broke their record, but they had legitimate chops, right? So
Yeah.
I think if they're gonna do it, now would be a good time. So yeah, I'm gonna say 9.
All right. We have another recently deceased potential nominee in Sabu.
Oh my god. And here's the thing. I feel like Sabu almost deserves it more than Psycho Sid, or at least that you can make a better argument for Sabu than you can for Psycho Sid, which doesn't make any sense because Sabu was just basically a hardcore wrestler. But
yeah,
in my eyes, he was. There was a ton of innovation that came from him.
He's a very inspirational wrestler. I'll give him that. He inspired a lot of people. And he was really, honestly, he was awesome in ECW. Yeah, I'm a big Sabu fan. But I mean, I would disagree that he deserves him more than Psycho Sid. But that's fine. Where would you put him on being inducted this year?
7.
7. I think I can probably go around 6. I think he does actually probably have a better chance of getting inducted um than Psycho Sid, even though I make it make sense, right? Like, but I don't agree with
right?
that. If I were calling the shots, I would say put in Psycho Sid now. But Sabu has probably been more relevant over the last decade. Even though he hasn't been super active or he's done a lot of indie things, you still hear about Sabu quite a bit. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Sabu got a nod, next year fairly recently. Um, Bray Wyatt.
Oh my god, that one hurts.
Yeah, that one hurts too, man. That was probably the most devastating I've been about a wrestler passing. I was a
Every
huge Bray Wyatt fan.
yeah, and every time something like this comes up, where we talk about Bray and we talk about the Fiend and we talk about, like his entrance into the Hall of Fame and stuff, it's just that gut punch that you have to realize, like you have to come to terms again with the fact that he's gone, and
Yeah,
it
man.
sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Bray at 10. If his family is willing to let him in, I'm gonna put him at 10.
I mean, I think they definitely would, and I mean, you still have the Wyatt Six kind of uh being around, like so. I
Mhm.
mean, I I I I don't know if I go 10. I mean, it's been a couple years since his passing at this point. I don't know about 10, but I'm gonna go close. I'm gonna give it a 9. It makes sense. You know what? I'll go 10 with you. I'll go 10 with you on that one. I think that's one that should happen this year for sure. Um,
I mean, and last year's no, not last year because that was but 2K25, not the one the 2K WWE game, not the one with the most recent one with Roman and the
mhm.
Island Irrelevant stuff, but the one before that, they really kind of did play heavy into Bray a little bit
Yeah, yeah,
with some of this stuff. So I'm not saying that's a marker or anything
it could
by
be
which should be judged, but it's something. It's something that they haven't abandoned him, and the ideas of having the Fiend out there as like DLC and actually having people pay for it and stuff like that, being willing to because they want to still have that little piece of them with them kind of
for
thing.
sure. And I think
So
that yeah, I like I said, and it would also be good for the White Six, like on a secondary level, like it really would be. Yeah, I that one could definitely be a 10. Up next we have Paige.
who is I'm not up on her. Is she in AEW still?
She was in AEW. She didn't resign with AEW. So she hasn't been on any programming for a while at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna throw that probably closer to a 4.
Dude,
I
I'm gonna
think
go.
should I
Go
think
ahead.
should go in, but I don't think that it would be just yet because they kind of have it feels like there's still kind of like that reconciliation period that needs to happen. Um, WWE wouldn't clear her to wrestle. She wanted to wrestle. AEW would clear her to wrestle, but then kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
botched her character a little bit, let's be honest. So she's probably kind of just at an outs right now. But since she signed with the competition, I don't know if WWE would necessarily be willing to just open the doors back up,
well,
or
I
if
mean, they've
she
done
would
it for
necessarily.
they've done it for Rusev, Aleister Black, CM Punk. So I don't think that that's really a holdup. I do think that they still wouldn't let her wrestle if she wanted to. I'm going to be a little controversial here. I'm going to give it a 1. I don't think she even deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Like,
Ooh,
she didn't really do a ton. Like, she held a like, she was the NXT Women's Champ, where Xavier Woods jizzed on it, famously. Um, I'm pretty sure everybody is aware of that. She got to win in AEW for. She was only the champ for a second, but she got to win at Wembley, I believe. Um, I think she's one of the youngest champs ever for the women. I just don't. I don't know. I don't really see Paige as a Hall of Famer though. Like I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they let her in at some point because there are people in the Hall of Fame who I don't really agree with.
Yeah.
Um, like Hillbilly Jim. Like I enjoyed Hillbilly Jim. I still have his action figure somewhere. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, and there's a handful of people like that. I don't think Paige is a Hall of Famer, so I'm gonna go one. If they let her in, whatever, but I'd be kind of surprised. I definitely would be surprised this soon. And I do agree there's a reconciliation period that probably needs to happen. I don't really know if they're on speaking terms. Like, my stance on that aside, I do agree with the point you made if you did think she was gonna get in. But yeah, I don't see it happening right now. Um,
Yeah.
I like to me, she was entertaining for a cup of coffee, but that's pretty much it. All right, then next we have the recently returned AJ Lee.
One. I'm
Yeah,
not saying that AJ doesn't deserve it because she did, in my opinion, and I fully, this is 100% just me, but AJ was the bridge between the Divas era and the women's era. Like the
yeah, she was.
switching from the Divas into the women's championship, the whole aspect of give Divas a chance and the Bellas taking credit for it. They let the Bella, in my opinion, again, they let the Bellas run off with that because the Bellas had a bigger following and were the more stereotypical quote unquote hot girls
Yeah,
than like AJ was. They had a better look. So they let them run with that and they put them as the figureheads. As far as wrestling ability goes, they were dog shit during the
agree.
time that of the whole give divas a chance. They got better, sure, but that wasn't for years.
No, I don't
So
think Bella should be in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, but there we go.
Yep.
So in my
Yeah,
opinion, that whole like I was fully behind the give divas a chance thing and everything, and like it sparked off evolution. It gave us the women's championships back. Like it did lay the groundwork for what we have now, which I'm a super big fan of. But I'm not getting it twisted that it wasn't started there. In my opinion, it started with AJ Lee. AJ Lee was leaps and bounds ahead of every other female wrestler, probably with the exception of Mickie James during that same time. I think her, like Mickie James and Victoria
yeah.
and AJ Lee are the basic front runners of that whole era. AJ was, in my opinion, again, the bridge between those two different eras. So
Yep.
she
I
is of monumental importance in my mind as far as women's wrestling goes in that aspect.
Mhm.
So I think she does get in at some point if her career continue if she does continues to do well now, kind of like, still building on an already impressive resume, kind of like Bailey. At this point, we know essentially that the four horsewomen punch their ticket, right? Like if Sasha
Yeah,
ever reconciles
yes,
with the WWE,
for sure.
the four horsewomen are first rounds. Like we
Yep.
know they're going in.
I was actually going to say too. I think AJ Lee definitely started the bridge. I think it was completed by the Four Horsewomen.
Yeah. Once the four horsewomen showed up, it was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
women's wrestling. This
Yep. Once
this
you
is what
brought
it
them up from
is.
NXT, like that, it was like the evolution was definitely there.
Yeah.
No, so
So I don't
no, go ahead.
yeah, no, it's like I don't, especially with her being active right now, I don't know how long she's going to be here for, but I feel like she's going to go in at some point. I do not feel like she's going to go in next year. So I'm going to put it at a one.
I'm going to agree with you. I also think it's a one. I think that up until this point, she also really, I would argue that she's not a Hall of Famer. But with this comeback, whether I agree with how this comeback goes or not, like it's obviously to be determined. I don't think it matters how it goes. I think she's probably going to get after this new run because I think she might have signed a multi-year deal, so she's going to be around. I think she definitely gets inducted after this. It's absolutely not happening until her contract's up. I don't think there's any chance. So I'm also giving it a one. All right, and then we got our last one. Okay.
Okay. Hit me.
All right, and I'm gonna say it like William Regal. Umanga. Umaga.
Oh, oh man. I want him in. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but I feel like it should be. Like considering all of the stuff that they did with the bloodline and everything, um, in like just this past year and like kind of like leading up to this, and the fact that they're kind of like trying to resurge it a little bit with Jimmy and Jay. I feel I'm gonna put it at a 5. To me, it's a 50-50. I really want it to happen, but I'm not blind to the fact that my whims do not do not control who gets into the Hall of Fame or not. So
Yeah. So man, RIP. I really enjoyed him while I was here. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer though. Like, what did he have? Like one IC run? I get it. Like he's in the bloodline, like he's got a lot of family members who are doing great things. And his family members are probably going to get in. I don't think Umaga's a Hall of Famer, so I'm going to go 1. God
I
rest his
mean,
soul.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I just don't. I like, and again, I really did. I liked Umaga. I really did.
Yeah,
But like Hall of Famer, like that'd be a little ridiculous.
he was just I feel like he was just taken too young before he was able to like
100%.
have before he
Yeah.
was able to have like a proper career.
I 100% think that he had Hall of Fame potential, but I agree with you. He was taken too young. He didn't really get to have his full run. So yeah, to me, it wasn't Hall of Fame worthy. So I'm gonna go 1 because I don't think he ever gets in.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got in. I wouldn't be shocked by that either. But I would be like, all right, come on. Like, thank your family's relevance right now for that. But yeah, all right. And that's the end of that list. No easy segue, but do you want to get into our top 5 factions of all time?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to kick it off or you want me to kick it off?
Sure. So for number 5 for me, I had the LWO, and I had them in there for a very specific reason.
Okay.
It's not because I love the LWO. But it's because of what I love what the LWO stood for and why they were created. Like
I remember them in
yeah.
are you talking like WCW originally or like
Yes.
WWE now? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
WCW originally. So for those of you who are not aware, WCW during the Attitude Era was NWO. It was. Every storyline, everything was just revolving around the NWO. Then when they started to lose some ground. They tried a resurgence of the NWO again and again. Everything was about them. And I mean almost everything.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And it got to the point where the NWO was like, what, 30 people big or something? It was ridiculously huge.
Probably.
So you were either with the NWO and getting wins and getting TV time, or you were not, and you were just getting hopefully TV time, which you knew you were going to go out and get smashed. Like that was it. Like those were your choices.
Unless your name was Ric Flair and sometimes Diamond Dallas Page, yeah, you probably weren't making or Sting until he joined NWO Black and Red. But I'm going off. Yeah,
going off.
Yeah.
So the LWO, I think it was like Ray and Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie started it. Actually, Ray didn't want to join it right away, but they wound up getting him to join. He's actually the only one who didn't take the LWO shirt off when the NWO made them disband. He's actually the only one who didn't jump ship. So he was always at LWO.
There we go. So they created the LWO kind of as an antithesis to the NWO, knowing full well that it was never going to go over. It was never going to actually make a difference. But they wanted to just show the inequality to the fans of what was going on with the NWO and in the back, behind the scenes and everything like that, of like how egregious this treatment was of everybody. And then, then they started doing the BWO, the Blue World Order and stuff, like kind of mimicking it in WWE and all that other stuff, all the other world orders that popped out. But for me, just the fact that this small group of people were willing to give the middle finger to like the brass in WCW, who were also part of the NWO, and start their own faction, literally just to put a spotlight on all the bullshit, they make my list.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to go through the whole thing, or do you want to just
Yeah.
go like
No,
okay?
go through it all.
So number 4, I put down the corporation. Attitude Era. You had, the McMahons.
Oh, yeah.
The whole family. The Rock. At one point, you had Kane, Triple H in there. It was just this powerhouse where it really gave the impression of the boss throwing his weight around, and not in a way that was like super toxic like the NWO was behind
Honestly,
the
I
scenes,
don't
or
think they
eventually
get
became.
Yeah, I don't think they get compared enough to the NWO. Like it was
Yeah,
kind of NWO-ish.
it was, but it was nice because it wasn't like they're treating it like the reality. It was very much the storyline of swerving into that aspect of the boss is in control and making all of your lives miserable, and we're moving the the pieces on the board to make sure our people come out on top, and working that into storylines rather than literally just doing it in real life for the sake of doing it and
Yeah.
pissing people off in the process. So just the powerhouse that it had and the different storylines that they were able to come up with from that, including the eventual merging of the corporation and the Ministry of Darkness to make the corporate ministry, was it was just a really fun time. So they make
100% agree. No, totally cool with that.
Number 3, and this is going to sound weird, ECW. And I don't mean the company, I mean the ECW invading WWE Raw.
Okay,
You're gonna
consider that a faction?
I'm gonna consider that a faction because if you look at it, Paul Heyman. So background context: Paul Heyman makes a deal with Vince to get some exposure on their brand. Paul Heyman's like, hey, we can bring some hardcore style to your brand of wrestling and liven it up because it's stale and boring and everybody knows that. And in the meantime, I can get some exposure for my guys and get some eyes on my product. And Vince was like, okay, let's do this. So ECW gets, they already had the bad rap, and they had Jerry Lawler, who famously is not a fan of ECW and the hardcore style.
Right.
It's not for everybody. I get it. But they had him trash talking ECW on Raws in the weeks leading up. Paul Heyman shows up with some of his guys, and they start jumping guys in the ring and stuff like that, and showing, like, doing the more hardcore stuff, the lesser on the, no barbed wire and everything, but, throwing out tables and trash cans and chairs, and showing a hardcore style of wrestling that WWE had not been exposed to at this point. And they treated it like an invasion. ECW was invading WWE. So I'm clowning that as a faction.
Okay. Hey, it's your list. All right.
Thank you.
I'm cool with it. I'm not cool with it, but it's your list.
Hey, it's my list.
That was a fun angle, though. That was a fun
thank
angle.
You.
And I do understand, like, they were united in that front, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a fun callback.
For number 2, D-Generation X.
Okay.
There's really no. It's hard to find another faction that really defines the Attitude Era better than DX. And
you're right.
I mean, I've always been a DX fanboy, but realistically, like, the Attitude Era literally started with them. Them
for sure. That was the attitude. Yeah, that was the attitude that was brought in. Yeah.
Them reading the cease and desist letter from Standards and Practices
good.
I mean, that was literally the kickoff, right? Like, after that happened, then Vince makes his videos saying that we're transitioning into the Attitude Era. Like, they ushered it in. So just them, their shenanigans, winning The multiple titles. They had a tag team champs going in. They had IC titles. They had China, the
They
women's
stole Stephanie
championship.
McMahon.
They stole
They dragged
Stephanie
Stephanie.
McMahon.
Yep.
They invaded WCW in a fucking tank. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just there's so much of the Attitude Era that was wrapped around them and their members, and they gave so much emphasis on it that it just like that they would be number one if not for the number one in my opinion.
Okay.
Number one is the NWO.
All right.
They're I did not like the NWO, and obviously it essentially crashed a company, right? Like this egos and everything, all the other stuff that went into it, but it was the start of the NWO and everything like that that kind of blinded them and made them do that stuff a little bit. So the NWO, it sparked the Monday Night Wars. Like it
Yeah.
sparked the wars. If we wouldn't, none of us would be here right now if it wasn't for the Monday Night Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And the
And you're right.
NWO was the reason for that. If it wasn't for the NWO, WCW never gets ahead of WWE, and we don't have anything now. We just
Yeah.
don't. Like
I
their stale
agree.
product never evolves. So that aspect of it was fantastic. The fact that they were going in and treating it like a guerrilla program underneath the fact, and like selling their own merchandise out of the trunks of their cars in the parking lot was phenomenal. It's just absolutely super well done in the beginning when you're looking at it
Yes.
from that aspect. What it became, absolute hot garbage. But in
Yep.
the beginning, as a faction, I have to give it the props. Like NWO was, in my opinion, the most revolutionary faction in in wrestling history.
Couldn't have said it better myself, and I won't when I inevitably get to them on my list.
All right, what you got for me?
Overall, good list. I'm gonna start out with a couple of honorable mentions, okay? And one of
Okay.
them you did touch on. My first honorable mention is the Corporate Ministry. For all the
Ooh.
reasons you said, they were a cool faction. I liked when they combined. Their music was a banger, and yeah, like they obviously didn't stretch it out as long as the NWO, which is a good thing. And it was really impactful when it was there, and it was really fun to watch. A lot of great people in there. Yeah, big Corporate Ministry fan. And then my second one is they're not a WWE faction, and that's a big reason, or at least one of the reasons why I can't put them in my top five. But Bullet Club, I think Bullet Club had a lot of
Ooh.
impact. Yeah, I think that you saw them across a lot of a lot of different companies, smaller platforms, but you saw them, in New Japan, you saw them in Ring of Honor, you saw them a lot of different places, and you've even seen I guess versions of them in WWE as well, with Gallows and Anderson, Finn, AJ. So I mean, very impactful group. But now I will get into my top five list, and I think it might be a little controversial, but I'm going to put number five, the Undisputed Era. Now they never made it to the main roster, but I think that NXT at their height was so big because of the Undisputed Era at the helm. There was actually a real stretch of time where I thought NXT was the best wrestling promotion in the world. I thought they were better than everyone. I thought they were better than SmackDown and Raw by far. This is kind of a little bit before AEW started. I know it crossed over a little bit, but they predate AEW. I thought that they were just killing it for a while. So as much success as NXT had, I don't think you have that success without the Undisputed Era. And it is a damn shame that Vince didn't know how to bring them up and just make them who they are. They wanted to make Adam Cole a manager, like just a joke, like after everything that guy did. And I'm not going to try to go too far off on a tangent here, but I get Adam Cole's a skinny looking guy. He's not super intimidating, but man, in the ring, he's so good when he's healthy. But Undisputed Era was amazing. So I'm going to put them at number five.
These are all facts.
Yeah.
Nothing you have said has been falsehoods. It is not an opinion. It is an absolute fact that the black and gold NXT in the time of like the Undisputed Era was the best wrestling promotion in the world. And
Hey,
they were
buddy.
they're a quote unquote far like a developmental league. Like
Yeah,
that was wrestling then. Like I would rather watch NXT than a pay-per-view any day of the week
a
because
million percent.
it was
They
just
had,
so good.
yeah, they had to separate the weekend or the dates that they were on because NXT was cleaning up. Everybody would watch NXT and people wouldn't care about the WWE pay-per-view. So when you
Yep.
say it's a fact, it's not just a fact, it's undisputed.
It's undisputed.
All right, number 4, and this might be controversial just placement wise. I'm putting Degeneration X.
Oh, you
For
better
a,
have a damn banger of a list, my friend.
I think that I do. They're on the list for all the reasons that you said. You really did a great job. We have two factions that overlap on our top fives. So really, you couldn't have described DX any better than you did. They were amazing. They were really good when it was just HBK, Triple H in China. When they expanded and brought in X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws, it was the best. It was so good. So they were awesome. Love Degeneration X. I don't have a bad thing to say about them, really. It's just that I think my 3 that I put ahead of them were just more impactful. So I'm going to go to number 3. And again, I understand this is disputable, but number 3, I'm going to put the Bloodline. Now, you could say the Bloodline is a shell of itself right now, and that's for sure true. But it still is a thing. But when the Bloodline was at its height, which was multiple years, man, they were untouchable. They were cleaning up titles. And a big thing about a faction, too, is it has to elevate the people in the faction. Everybody in that original faction was elevated. Jey Uso is now a multi-time, champion. He's been IC champ. He's been world champ. He would have never held a singles title if it wasn't for that group. You could say the only loser is kind of Jimmy, but Jimmy's done some stuff. He's also had injuries. I think that Jimmy still has a lot that he can do. Sammy, he got to be one of the co-main events for WrestleMania after leaving the Bloodline. He got huge after he turned on them. Just the storylines that were generated from the Bloodline were some of the best, at least some of the best in the last decade. And even Roman Reigns, I couldn't tell you how many people could pull off that long of a title reign to where it's not stale. And in my opinion, it wasn't stale. It was good until the end. And when it ended with Cody winning, which to me, Cody's story is the best story ever told. And that ended with the Bloodline. And it sort of ended that Bloodline story too. So I just think everything about the Bloodline's run was epic. And I don't throw the word epic around easily, but that's an epic faction. So yeah, I mean, I have to put them in there, and I can't put them below 3. Number 2, and again, the placement might be a little controversial, but I'm putting the NWO. And I'm putting them in there for all the reasons that you said. And I'm also going to say that they're not number 1 because of some of the things that you also said. WCW would have never gotten as big as they were. They would have never beaten the WWE as many weeks and months and over a year that they did if it wasn't for the NWO. The NWO is huge. I loved the NWO for a very long period of time. The hits against the NWO, again, you touched on them, is even though they took WCW to heights they never thought they could have seen, they also helped crash that company. Also, kind of what I was saying about the Bloodline, they didn't elevate a lot of their talent. There was a lot of filler people, too much filler people in the NWO, but it really who was it? It was pretty much Hogan, Nash, Sting. Like these are guys who saw success in the NWO, but for the most part, even Hall of Fame caliber guys like the Macho Man, like he didn't do a ton. Bret Hart didn't do a ton in the NWO. Mr. Perfect or Kurt Hennig didn't do a ton in NWO. You have these great guys who just, really didn't have to be in the NWO. $1 Million Man was in there for a while. I don't know. Like to me, the NWO was amazing. They don't deserve to be any less than number 2, but I can't give them number 1. Number 1 is Evolution. Evolution was a perfect faction, in my opinion, a perfect faction. From start to finish, they had great storylines, and they did what the title of their faction is said to do. They elevated Randy Orton and Batista to world champions and future Hall of Famers. Like Randy Orton's still doing great things. Batista probably could be if he wanted to, but he's got his movie career. But Batista was as big as it comes for a while. He had the look. He was a multi-time world champion. And then you have Ric Flair, who you could argue is on the Rushmore of wrestlers. Triple H, who I think is one of the best heels of all time. Evolution to me, like I said, perfect faction. I can't think of any down point for Evolution, and it did everything that a faction's supposed to do. So that is my list.
That's a fair list. That's a fair list. I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but it is a good one. It's a solid list. I will give you that. I debated putting Evolution on mine, but
I'm surprised you didn't. But again, these are each of our lists. We're both super fans in our own ways. We're not always going to see eye to eye on everything, and that's good.
Yeah,
because it sparks conversation. But yeah, to me, there's like I said, DX, NWO, Evolution. Like I feel like you can watch wrestling 100 years from now, and they should still probably be on the list. But yeah, I mean, like the placement I think is arguable, and you could even argue that there's Undisputed could be bumped, but to me, in my wrestling experience, and I've watched, I probably said it before, I've watched since '89. These are the best factions or the most enjoyable factions that I've watched in my time with under the WWE umbrella.
Yeah, that's super fair. Yeah, we don't always have to agree with everything. See, people out there, if you're listening, we don't always agree. We just agree a lot of time because we're smart.
Exactly.
So yeah, I appreciate both of those lists. I think you made some really good points on your end. I'm gonna say Evolution probably would get, if I didn't have the corporation on there, it would get the number 4 slot for sure. It did elevate, and it absolutely set Randy Orton's career up. Like I don't
100%.
think Randy Orton is Randy Orton as we know him, if not for Evolution.
Definitely not.
So I really think that is the case. But yeah, I felt like there were other ones, but I'm gonna put them on the honorable mention list. They're gonna be just right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, they at least need a mention, but yeah, to me, they are number 1.
That's fair. That's super fair, and I can understand why. I can absolutely understand why. And again, all of these that we mentioned are essentially case studies, in my opinion, of factions and how you can build a successful faction and the different styles in which to book it and to have them displayed out and everything for the fans and make them, because they were all a little different, but they were all very successful. So
for sure, and you're right, they all are pretty different factions, all things considered. But yeah, they were just so impactful and so enjoyable to watch, and even yours. Like I said, I obviously we only had 2 that overlap, but I still love all the factions that you mentioned.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this ended up being a much longer episode than I think we originally anticipated.
We did. We thought this was just gonna be a short one, but yeah, you know what? There's always something to talk about.
Always. So yeah, thank you for sticking with us through our ramblings and ravings, and hopefully that doesn't chase you away. And we'll see you back here. We're recording next week. Same thing. Same.
I'm in.
All right. Let's plan on that then. So then from us, yeah, I'm Michael.
I'm John.
Don't stop believing, guys.